What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 151 of Park to Prem here with Town Lord Town. Before we get into today's episode, if you missed yesterday's video, an hour-long special, 4 huge matches. We played Liverpool twice, Man City and Manchester United. Worth a watch if you can spare the time. And, you join me back here today for a game against Chelsea. Now, originally, this was going to be a double-header. However, it's January, fixtures got moved around because of an FA Cup run. And the Manchester City game I was looking forward to talking about oh so much is now in the middle of next month. And additionally, Man City have gone down to 5th. They are really struggling. A team who, well, I'll be honest, I was hedging as the big rivals this year. They have slipped up, and whilst they only slipped up twice, it's cost them pretty badly over the month. If we just have a quick look at the Premier League table, we'll look at the fixtures in a second. You can see right now we're down in 4th. However, we have got games in hand on the teams around us. Today, playing Chelsea, this is huge. If we beat them here, we would be even on points with them, behind them on goal difference, but with a crucial game in hand. But yeah, with what's left of the season now, it looks like it's going to be a 4-horse race. Liverpool have entered the fray. They've won all of their last 5 games. You can see for us, our form has been patchy, to say the very least. So hopefully today, we're going to get it back on the straight and narrow. Since you were last here, we have played 5 games. Not much variety in the teams that we've played. We've played Walsall twice, Sheffield United twice, and also Arsenal. In terms of these games, 3 of them come in the FA Cup as well, and we'll start with what was a bit of a surprising result. We were taking on Walsall away from home. It was the 3rd round of the FA Cup. We should be beating Walsall. They are not a particularly huge team. They're in the Championship, currently 15th, and we drew 1-1. A lovely finish by Dylan Turnbull, but they fought back. Just to have a quick look at Walsall here, if we just look at their key player, it's Maurice Otto, who's on loan from Manchester United. I mean, I suppose he's not the worst player in the world, is he? He's valued at £23 million. He's not got the best of finishing. Maybe I was selling Walsall short, you know. Either way, we went into the return leg. I played a full-strength team for that game, and, well, we murdered them, to be honest. Andre with a goal, then Antti Bubalo with a goal, which is obviously fantastic to see, before Shvetsov mopped up the pieces in the later stages. And, well, the FA Cup, despite being a domestic cup competition that I'm not super bothered about winning, I would still like to do quite well in. And of course, it was great to see Bubalo score. It's worth noting that off the back of this result, and it being January, Bubalo had a loan offer from Valencia. We've taken this offer because I think it's a great opportunity for him to play regular football. You can see here, the Croatian international striker really developed well, despite a lack of first-team football in the first half of this year. So now a loan move to Spain, where hopefully he's going to get regular opportunities. He's already scored in La Liga for them. And I really like Bubalo. I feel like he's got something about him. I want to believe he can break into the first team. In many ways, he reminds me of Gonzalez, who is on loan at Coventry. Now, Gonzalez is one of the big reasons that Coventry were able to get promoted last year, because when they were our affiliate, we loaned him to them. You can see him here. He's a really fantastic player. He's recently turned 22 as of yesterday. I don't know how he fits into the first team. That's kind of the big issue, but what an incredible, talented player. Maybe, just maybe, he could be a centre-attacking mid-advanced playmaker. That isn't even a bad shout, you know, when you look at it. And he's got the finishing to boot. He could easily become a squad player. It's interesting, right? We signed him for £5 million. He's a player who's been on loan a number of years, and to be fair, he's had a lot of very productive loan spells, including this year playing regular Premier League football. At 22 years old, he's still improving. If he can just improve that little bit more, I mean, I don't think he'll ever quite compete with Andy Eric, because Andy Eric's just a little bit more complete. However, he's certainly a very good player. A player who's gone under the radar, I suppose, in terms of development, but yeah, you can see the comparison here. Not quite of the same level as Andy Eric, but nevertheless, he could be a very useful squad player. And of course, players like him, players like Bubalo, if they can develop off the back of their loan spells, hopefully they come to us in their early 20s, and either we find a route for them into the first team, or able to sell them on for some really healthy money. That's kind of always going to be the aim there. So anyway, having navigated through the FA Cup 3rd round, we took on Arsenal away from home at the Emirates, and, well, there was one goal in this game. It was Andre Shvetsov with it. And, a good win. A win that we needed, and a clean sheet that we needed. And the first of this little run of clean sheets that we've had. You can see we've had 4 in our last 4. And well, one of these was in the FA Cup against Sheffield United. Yes, playing away from, at home, not away from home, although we did play them away from home just a few days later. But playing them at home, 4-0 win, Andre from the penalty spot early on, Volta with a goal, Maticevic with probably the pick of the bunch in terms of finishes, a really satisfying long-range shot off the post. And then Steve Norman, who's been out with an injury for a little while with damaged knee cartilage, a chance for him to get a little bit of match fitness, a little bit of first-team football. Lovely, lovely goal by him. Tidy finish into the bottom corner, and well, hopefully that's going to be the start of him getting back on the straight and narrow. It has been a concern with Steve Norman. You know, he's been out for the past 4 weeks with damaged knee cartilage, which normally perhaps wouldn't be the worst situation in the world, but the fact it happened at the beginning of December meant he missed a really, hectic run of games where it would have been ideal to bed him in and give him some rotated first-team football. Anyway, most recently, Sheffield United away from home in the Premier League, and it was only 1-0. Having beat them 4-0 earlier on the previous week, you would expect another comfortable win. However, it was Matisevic's header from a Leskinen cross that ultimately got us the result there. And, you've already seen the league table, but just to look at it, a few wins now to hopefully get us a bit of momentum, a couple of clean sheets as well, of course, great to see. Today's game, though, against Chelsea is going to be a really, really big test. Their team predicted to finish first, of course, Frank Lampard's men. And, if we just look through some of their best players, they've got players like Daniel here, who is a Brazilian right winger. If I'm not mistaken, he's won a Ballon d'Or as well, so he must be quite good. You can see here, he's been named in the FIFA Pro Team of the Year. Have we ever had a player in the Team of the Year? I don't feel like we have. Unless Cancina maybe made it in while he was at Juventus. Nah, he didn't. You can see it. Very, very good team. I'm trying to see, are there any real players left? Oh, okay, Ansu Fati is still playing. He's very good. Wow. I didn't even realise he was as good as that. He's playing from PSG, but it looks like the rest of these players are just regens at this point. But, this guy, he's quite good. He's very highly rated by the media. He's actually not had the craziest of seasons so far, although he has got a 7.44 average rating. Of course, they've got Hendrik Bittner, a player who was offered to us in the January transfer window from our scouts, telling us I should sign him. And, of course, another one of their key players, Greg Watson, a player who was a real pillar of the England team under my leadership. What an incredible deep-line playmaker he is. In terms of little bits of transfer news, there is a tiny bit going on. If we just look at the outs, obviously, or rather the ins, you can see that we signed Dio. I did also sign Banima, who was the Congolese player with a little bit of potential. We got him on a free transfer. That was kind of the logic to signing him. In terms of the outs, you can see here a few players going out on loan, a few products of the academy like Mark Priest just going away to QPR, a player who joined us years ago, now playing in League 2 for QPR, who I didn't realise how far they'd fallen off the pace. But there hasn't been any huge sales yet, but there is one, and I want to know what you guys would do here. And the big sale is this guy, Raymond Bryan. Now, this chap is a product of our academy. He's a player with a little bit of potential, that there is no denying. However, he is inconsistent, he is injury prone. There are some question marks around him, and I do feel like we've got some better centre mids coming through. For comparison's sake, if we just look at young centre mids, we've got players like Geffin Collins, who if you compare it with Brian Raymond, I don't know, I think I would take Geffin over him, although maybe there's not a huge difference, but the reality is that Brian is going to be 19 years old in the summer, and I still feel like he's a little way off the first team. When you consider that Cancina is 19, he's got a lot of development to do in not a lot of time. And so when Swansea came in and were interested in a transfer, it got my attention. They have bid £43 million for him. That is mental. I don't know what they're smoking over in Swansea, but I'm going to take them up on that offer. So the deal itself is 29 million up front, 7 million in monthly instalments. We get another 7 million if he plays 50 games, but even if that clause isn't enacted, it's still pretty good. And additionally, we get 50% of profit from any next sale. So what that means is, in theory, if he was to develop a lot and I decided I did want to buy him back, hopefully we would get a decent chunk of cash back, so it wouldn't be quite as expensive. Although, to be honest with you, I don't know how this guy's going to develop into a £40 million player. I just don't see it. In terms of the transfer budget and such, we've got £315 million in the balance. We've got £700,000 like just free in the wages, and we've got £114 million in terms of transfer budget. I think at this point, and I have looked at making a big landmark signing, I feel like the most logical thing to do is just save this money for the summer. Save it for when teams are maybe a bit more willing to sell. There's players like Claudio Holman, who I have looked at. This is a player who I actually wanted to sign many years ago, back when he was playing for San Lorenzo. He looked like a really good prospect then, but I couldn't get him a work permit because I think I was in the Championship. He's now one of the best players in the world. You can see they think 110 million is unacceptable. I don't really want to pay more than that for him, but he's one of these players who I have got a very close eye on. I mean, if we just sort here by overall recommendation, you can see the likes of Mike Frost appearing here. As I mentioned last episode, I bid at £200 million or £180 million on him, and they had absolutely no interest in selling him to me. But I don't know. I could sign a player for the sake of it, but in many ways, I'd rather maybe sign a few youngsters and save the bulk of this cash for down the line. You can see if we want to just rejig the budget, we could have £150 million just excess for transfers. But yeah, I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to spend over £100 million on a player that I don't necessarily think improves us drastically midway through a year. Realistically speaking, I think the centre mid position is perhaps the area that needs the most improvement. I feel like at centre back now, Markovski's showing some really promising signs of development. Hopefully he can keep this momentum going. Of course, alongside him, we've got Soretta, who I think is a more than adequate centre back. I'm a little bit concerned he's kind of hit his potential now. He's not had a great deal of improvement in recent months. Obviously, in the wing-back area, Matheus Aurelio is just the solution at right-back for a very long time. I will say I've been a tad disappointed by him last year, particularly considering how good he was, previous year. We've given him a £200,000 a week wage, and I don't want to say he's flopped. He's definitely not been of quite the same level, although he has chipped in with a goal or two when it's mattered. Obviously, Leskinen is just a long-term solution. Andre as well. I know he's not had the best of years so far, but I think he is beyond solid. The 24-year-old. Even Maticevic, to an extent, it'd be a shame for it to have to move him out of the team, considering he is homegrown at club. He's come through our academy. But at 23 years old, yes, he's got a little bit of potential to fill, and yes, he would slot into many Premier League teams. In fact, Manchester United just recently bid £50 million for him. So he's got the quality. It's just a case of that in an incredibly world-class team, perhaps he is the gap in the team, if you can even call it that. But anyway, let's get into today's game, shall we? We're playing Chelsea. It's a big game. It's a midweek game, and I'm a little bit scared for it. It's the 30th of January. The transfer window is technically open, so if I did want to go out and splurge last minute on someone, I probably could. Who knows? Maybe I'll go and do a bit of window shopping before the stores close down in just a couple of days' time. In terms of the team for today's game, it's pretty much full strength. The only player missing is McCassie. Now, unfortunately, he's out with, the cold. Yeah, he's out with a cold for 3 days, bless him. As a result, Dio's going to find himself on the bench. I've brought in Dio knowing that, for the most part, he's going to be a fifth-choice centre-back. But he can also play at a more defensive midfielder position. And to be fair, he's not even got the worst deep-line playmaker attributes in the world if we absolutely had to play him there in an emergency. That said, he's absolutely 100% a centre-back, particularly with his 19 tackling. That is pretty standout. So anyway, let's get into this. I am nervous. I need to beat Chelsea here. If they beat us, we are going to fall massively off the pace. There is a degree of pressure on us here to get a result. Losing this would put us, I believe, 6 points behind Chelsea. They would have a game in hand, or rather we would have a game in hand over them to close that gap to 3. We are at home as well, and given how the last kind of few games have gone, I do feel like the defensive system just isn't really worth using. When we were newly promoted to the Premier League, having that plan B felt like a smart thing, and maybe when we need to see out games, it might be a smart thing. But actually, what I think we've experienced a lot this year is that our best strength is just the quality of the players we have now. We're not getting outclassed in midfield. We're not getting bullied by teams who have better quality. Nico, it's happening again. Yesterday we had 2 stupid sendings off, and I don't know what to do. Oh, you absolute donkey. What an idiot. What an absolute idiot Nico is. I mean... Oh, it's beyond frustrating, right? Because... We saw it previously. We saw it previously against Manchester United. We saw it previously against Norwich with just straight reds. It's not even like it's a case of, oh, you've got tackle harder on, so they're accumulating yellows. He's gone mental. He's just decided to karate kick Chelsea. We're going to drop the advanced playmaker on attack in the centre of attacking mid position and try and operate without him. I want to keep the same system going, and to be fair, statistically we've been very good here. As Mateus Aredio, who I called out, is breaking through. I thought for a second he was going to smash it in. You can see stats for this first half. Considering Nico got sent off after 16 minutes, we have steadied the ship a little bit. They've not even had a shot on target as of yet. And in fact, at this point, a draw would probably be a very, very good result. What an awful moment, though. It's happening quite a lot this year. And it didn't happen last year. I think last year we had one red card all season, which I guess statistically was a bit of a freak incident, and probably we were overdue some reds this year. But I think in the last 6 league games, we've had 3 red cards now. Like, is there something in the water? Deacon, do not get sent off. Do not, and Leskinen as well. Do not get sent off. Ease off tackles. Ease off tackles. Don't do anything stupid, please. They've got a set piece here. Or rather, they would have a set piece there in a potentially threatening position. An hour gone here. I mean, they have got into it more in the second half. The issue is now we're down a man against the best team in the league. Like, it's always going to be a challenge. I kind of want to keep playing on the front foot, as crazy as that might seem. Yes, we're without an advanced playmaker now, but I still feel like we can make it work. Daniel with the ball here tries to cross it in. Thomas whips it in. Bittner nods it down to Daniel. Morrigan, you big boy, makes a huge save. Turnbull's not played particularly well here. I'm actually going to make a bit of a stylistic change, I think. I'm going to bring back in the advanced playmaker. Am I going to do that? I'm thinking about what I want to do here now. Yeah, you know what I am. I'm going to bring in Volta. Leskinen on a booking scares me as well, so we're going to bring in Kaiser with our last sub. I realise that making all our subs after an hour is probably inviting some pressure onto us. I mean, they've been very good in this second half, Chelsea. Can we hold on? Can we just get a 0-0 draw? That would be fine by me. We've been on a run of clean sheets as of late playing this system. I mean, it's not been a classic, has it? 5 minutes left. Mateus Aredio, long throw forward. Shvetsov under it, headers it, and Vial holds on. That was probably the best opportunity that we're going to get whilst down a man. And now Uvrad is bringing the ball forward for them. Down the line to Daniel. Poor touch by him. Kevin Kaiser reads it like a book. Back to Morrigan, who lumps it forward. Shvetsov, where are you? Where are you, Shvetsov? Come on, let's be having you. Volta making a run on ahead. Volta, please. Volta, please. Oh, the keeper makes a huge stop. What an opportunity. I thought the Shvetsov header was the chance of the highlight, but there was more to come. And we've missed it. And you know what? There's a minute left and it's going to finish 0-0. It has not been a classic. We had a chance to win it right at the very death. I mean, in some ways, that is a bit anticlimactic as far as matches go, because it was so short. On the other hand, considering we had a sending off within the first 15 minutes of the game, I'm pretty happy just to get a 0-0 there. We maintained the gap on Chelsea to 3 points. We have this game in hand. Unfortunately, our goal difference is quite a way behind them. But we have got, hopefully, a run of slightly more winnable games now. You know, we've had some tricky games as of late. I look at the likes of Brentford in 16th, Derby in 18th, even Norwich in 10th, and Coventry as well in 20th as games we should be winning. As I said, we've got this Man City game, but I'm not going to come back for that. They're no longer one of our big rivals in the title race. And in fact, next episode, we're going to do a double header. We've got Liverpool, who languish in 4th, who we've just pulled away from. And we've got Bayern Munich in the first knockout round of the Champions League. That'll be at the end of February. And it kind of, to me, feels like the most logical point to come back. You can see we've now got a run of 5 clean sheets in a row, which, considering we went through a little run where we were struggling to keep clean sheets, I suppose is a little bit of a positive. But it's not ideal, is it? It's really not. We needed to win that game. There is absolutely no getting around it. We needed to win that game. When does the transfer window close? It closes tomorrow. Excellent. So if I wanted to make any last-minute transfer or panic buy or whatever you would like to call it, it's got to come soon. You can see I have been keeping a pretty close eye on players. I have been scouting a lot of players, looking at recommendations. I mean, who are the world-class players? You've got players like Mike Frost, Kylian Lopez, 24-year-old striker. I don't need another... The one position I don't need is a striker. You've seen players like Bubalo and Gonzalez out on loan. Definitely don't need a striker. I was looking at one point at Antonio Guare, who is a right winger, so you might wonder why the hell would you want to sign him. I was thinking about retraining him to play Mazzala, which might seem mad. He's very good, isn't he? He is very good. You generate £3 million in marketing. The issue might be the wages. Let's try and lowball them a little bit here. Let's try and lowball them. I mean, if he's 60 million, whilst it's not an insignificant, they don't want to sell him for 60. How about 70? Who knows? Maybe you'll come back next time and I will just have an Antonio Guare, who doesn't even really fit our system in the team. He would be an incredible Mazzala. That was kind of the logic there. He's 24 years old. He's very, very young, entering his prime. Is he still unhappy and wanting to leave? It doesn't seem like he is. I think our scout report is out of date, which is probably why they weren't interested in entertaining a £60 million bid, to be fair. But anyway, I'm going to have a look through. We might end up signing someone, although it feels a little unlikely at this point. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. It's going to be a huge episode with the Liverpool game and that Bayern Munich first knockout Champions League match. Obviously, going okay in the league. We're still very much in the fight, although it's getting tighter and tighter at the top. It seems pretty likely now that with 15 games left of the season, for the majority of teams, this year is really going to go down to the wire. And, well, to be fair, that can only mean one thing, and that is entertainment, which, for better or for worse, is usually pretty good with a YouTube series. So anyway, guys, I'll catch you tomorrow for Sunday's upload. Thank you for watching this today. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.